Hey everyone, Mazer here, and today we're going to talk about the Peacock original series Twisted Metal, specifically episode 1, and it is the only one I currently have access to. Twisted Metal is a fast-paced vehicular combat game heavily inspired by the Mad Max trilogy. Co-created by legendary developer David Jaffe, it quickly became a cult hit that spawned several sequels and spin-offs, including Twisted Metal Small Brawl and my personal favorite, Twisted Metal Black. Gameplay consists of players taking control of a wide variety of colorful drivers and pitting them against one another in a battle royale setting. What made Twisted Metal so much fun was that the battles did not just take place in arenas, but public spaces as well. You would battle through Los Angeles, Paris, even Antarctica. The world was your playground. And each game in the franchise raised the bar. We got more vehicles, more weapons, more arenas, and more chances to destroy everything in our path. However, there was more to Twisted Metal than just the combat. Like Mortal Kombat before it, Twisted Metal contains a shocking amount of lore and continuity. While several characters only exist within their specific game, there are those who survive and continue on. Most notably the Kanes, Charlie Kane, Marcus Kane, and Needles Kane. These three, along with Calypso, would play a pivotal part of the franchise's storyline. And while I love to do nothing more than talk about how their stories intertwine, I am here to discuss Twisted Metal's latest incarnation, the Peacock original series. This is our review of Twisted Metal Episode 1, Will You Drive? The episode begins with what else? Narration. Our narrator is Jon Doe, and he explains to us that a computer virus is responsible for wiping out all modern technology, including wireless communication, power grids, and even online porn. In order to protect themselves, cities around the country exiled their criminals before erecting gigantic walls around their borders. Now, in order to survive the apocalypse, the cities needed supplies. That is where Jon Doe comes in. He is a milkman, a driver who delivers supplies from one city to the next. Jon Doe has been a milkman for most of his life, and he drives a heavily armored 2003 Subaru that he has affectionately named Evelyn. Jon Doe is good at what he does. He is an expert driver, a crack shot, and has survived more deliveries than most milkmen in his territory. This success has not gone unnoticed, however, as he is soon invited to a meeting with new San Francisco's COO, Raven. She offers him a job, to go to Old Chicago and pick up a package and deliver it to her within 10 days' time. In exchange, she will grant him citizenship to New San Fran, but if he is even a second late in the delivery, the deal is off. Despite his reservations, Jon Doe agrees.
Smooth.
See you in 10 days, John.
Until then, Jello, Raven.
Meanwhile, along the California border, a purple hearse is desperately trying to escape pursuit of a heavily modified police cruiser. The hearse belongs to a pair of unnamed siblings played by Richard Carbell and Stephanie Beatrice, while the cruiser is being driven by the relentless Officer Stone, who is played by Thomas Hayden Church. It does not take long for Stone and his deputies to destroy the hearse and capture the siblings. Stone then explains that he is trying to restore law and order to the wasteland, and in order to do so, he will punish any crime, no matter how small, with extreme prejudice. He offers them a choice. If either one takes their own life, he'd let the other go. The brother volunteers and quickly executes himself before his sister can intervene. True to his word, Stone releases the sister, but not before branding her with his sheriff's badge. He warns her to stay out of trouble, lest she suffers his wrath a second time. Back in Southern California, Jon Doe is seeking a map to Old Chicago. He visits an old friend, a gas station attendant named Tommy. Tommy provides Jon Doe with directions, but warns him of the dangers waiting for him outside of California.
Gonna have to go through Vegas, John. We both know who rules Vegas.
He is able to make it to the outskirts of Las Vegas before being ambushed by the unnamed sister. She lures him out of his car at gunpoint with the intent of stealing his Evelyn in order to pursue Officer Stone. Now he tries to calm her down, but the sound of music interrupts him. And it's not just any music, it is the jingle jangle of Sweet Tooth, a polka-dotted ice cream truck driven by none other than the psychotic, clown-masked killer Needles Kane. His maniacal laugh fills the air as the screen cuts to black and the credits roll. Now, what I say as a hardcore fan of the Twisted Metal franchise. I absolutely love the direction the studio is going with this. They realize that Twisted Metal is an insane property that should never be taken too seriously. I mean, come on, this is the franchise where a bunch of lunatics shoot at one another from inside crazy vehicles in the hopes of getting their one wish granted by a burned man in a suit. The cast includes homeless men, killer clowns, race car drivers, construction workers, a shadowy demon, the literal embodiment of death, taxi drivers, stoners, and in one game, a man in a gimp suit. This series has always had a twisted sense of humor to it, and it is this humor that the show embraces like a straitjacket. As far as the story goes, I am digging the apocalyptic take that the writers are going with. At first, I was skeptical about the whole delivery man premise, but it seems to work really well. It makes sense that the characters of Twisted Metal would be in control of their own territories. This way, we can be organically introduced to them as time goes by. And I am very excited to see who else Jon Doe runs into over the course of his journey. Speaking of which, let's talk about the characters. Anthony Mackie is wonderful as the fast-talking Jon Doe. He is charismatic, charming, and a delightful smartass. He's a fantastic choice for our main character, and I really find myself rooting for him. On the other side of the coin, we have Neve Campbell playing the COO of New San Francisco. At first, I found her performance to be a little rough around the edges, a little stiff, a little wooden. However, we soon discover that this is because she's pretending to be someone she is not. I still have some reservations about Neve's performance, but for now, I want to see more before passing judgment. As for Thomas Hayden Church as Officer Stone and Stephanie Beatriz as the unnamed sister, I feel we just don't have enough screen time to judge either one of them proper. As of right now, Church seems to be nailing it as the corrupt Officer Stone, whereas Stephanie is doing a good job at playing an angry, troubled person with a mysterious past. Hopefully both characters stick around long enough so that we can get to know them a bit better. Finally, let's talk about the series mascot Sweet Tooth. I don't know what kind of sorcery the showrunners did to pull Needles Kane from the games into the real world, but they did it. He looks fantastic, exactly like his video game counterpart from Twisted Metal Black. His size, his movements, his mask, they are absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait for the next episode where I can enjoy Needles Kane in all his live-action glory. Now, if you'll forgive me, I'm just going to go on a little tirade of all the things I loved about the episode. Number one, I love the car combat. While we didn't get that much of it, what we did see was on point and very Twisted Metal. Number two, I love the fact that they pay Jon Doe in car parts and weapons instead of money. It just makes sense for what purpose does money have in the wasteland. Number three, the cars are beautiful. Shadow, Outlaw, and Sweet Tooth all look like they came straight out of the video game. Even Evelyn, who is a new car, is wonderfully done. Number 4. The show seems to be mixing the dark humor of Twisted Metal 1 and 2 with the characters of Twisted Metal Black. Raven, Jon Doe, Officer Stone, these are all characters in Twisted Metal Black, whereas Sweet Tooth's design comes directly from his black incarnation. Number 5. The humor is on point and isn't afraid of going too dark. Number 6, 2 words, baby seal. And number 7, despite being only 30 minutes in length, they did a great job at creating a believable world that can exist in the Twisted Metal universe. I want to see more, I need to see more, I want to see more. And there you have it. As it stands, I am very happy with how Twisted Metal is being portrayed. This is a franchise that never took itself too seriously, and I'm glad to see that the showrunners are playing up to the game's tongue-in-cheek humor. Now let's hope that the other episodes are just as strong. I am Mazer, and we'll see you next time. Bye.